YouTube, I did a Bucky acoustic. I may have done a Bucky acoustic before, but I don't remember. I don't think so. I do remember having a Fender with a broken headstock that I repaired, and then I painted the head yellow and stuck a Bucky label on it. So there is another one. This one's a bit more advanced. It's got a red pickup in it and a yellow scratch plate. I was going to paint it dark green on the top, but see, I don't actually have a full bottle of Bucky lying about, but see when you actually look at it, it's pretty much black when it's got Bucky in it. The bottle's green, so normally it's only the top bit. The top bit you can see is green, but normally it's black, so I just sort it. Yeah, so this is a Stag acoustic from one of my guitar students. This was very, very dirty. Been sitting in I think it'd been sitting near a tumble dryer or something like that, you know, sort of fluff. Ridiculous amount of fluff on it. And I put in the volume controls. I went for on the top again. I quite like that. I was going to put them here, but I don't know. That just, it seems very natural to be there. It actually seems an awful lot more natural having like the volume and the tone there. I did them the wrong way around as well. I put the volume as this one because that's the one you're going to reach to most. It seems more natural than, you know, when you get your box thing with the sliders on it. The sliders and the wee tiny wee volume knob that you normally get on a nice big knob. Tuner's still on. Yes. So part of this was I've got reverb on the amp as well. I turn it off, play it with him. Yeah, so I've set this up with I shaved down the bridge and stuff like that. Action's really low, and it's actually I've got a wee bit of frets to do, which will be done before it goes out up here somewhere. Because to be honest, I didn't really play the acoustic up there, but when you get up here, it's a wee bit spanky there. If you're playing the 14th fret, because we've got a high fret in here, but I'll sort that. You really get no business in being up there on an acoustic anyway, but if you know, it's like I couldn't live with it. It's like even though the amount of times I play up here is none on an acoustic. I don't really play acoustic, but the fact that it doesn't do it really annoys me. It's kind of the similar thing happened to me with that MIDI guitar, the Casio one. It's just like an 80s Japanese Strat made by Fujigen, so it's like a proper Strat, and it's like, so I bought it basically as that with the MIDI stuff not working, playing it going like that, and it's just I couldn't get over the fact that it's got like a wee control panel with switches on it that doesn't do anything because it didn't work, so I had to fix it, which I did, or I got it fixed. Yeah, so I'm playing I'm not playing a band. I've played it before. It's a beer. Them, Pete and Diesel, are a band from the Hebrides, I think, one of the islands off the west coast of Scotland. They're playing at the Barras on Saturday night, and about maybe a year ago, last time they did a tour, I was talking to Tony and Blitzkreig. He said, I'm going to try and get Pete and Diesel, get them a Buckycaster. Well, alright, cool. Who are Pete and Diesel? And they put on the video, this at My Island by Pete and Diesel, which is just like it's one of those things where sometimes you hear music and it's like, oh, am I going to like this? Am I going to like this? And it goes 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I fucking love this. This is great. Immediately, it's just like an immediate yes, have some of that. So I'm going to go and see them Saturday night. Also, I kind of didn't. I was the guy plays the Ibanez RG, like not an expensive Ibanez RG, like a 350 DX, and I've not really seen him use the tremolo. So I made a Buckycaster a while ago that's in Blitzkreig, which is a Ibanez RX, which is basically it's a slightly more like a Strat RG, kind of actually a wee bit like the Roadstar, that kind of thing. It's not quite an RG, it's not quite as pointy, it's a wee bit rounded, but there's one of them, and so maybe I'm going to go in with Tony and we're going to try and, I don't know, offload it onto him, see if he'll make him buy it, because they must drink Bucky, obviously. Scottish, so must. So good. Also, the other thing I was doing is my pal Alex was wondering if sticking a pickup like this in his acoustic, and what does it actually sound like when it's not in the thing? When I was like, what I'll do is I'll plug it into the amp, and then I'll stand outside and hear what it sounds like, and I'll listen back to it. And it's like, actually, I was using the loop pedal, so I can just play it into the loop pedal and then just not play and listen to it. There you go. I mean, I'm not playing it through a proper acoustic amp or even a PA. In fact, it might sound better through the bass amp. That might be the way to do it. Quite bassy. I remember the problem playing through the bass amp. The bass amp doesn't do the high frequencies, so you're kind of lost on the high strings. Don't really come through because it's a bass amp. I noticed that on basically all guitars. It's like maybe it's the way I've got it set up. It's it's designed for bass, so it's like it's kind of thinking, you don't want those frequencies, so it doesn't let you play them. So I'll just play through the guitar amp. Slower than that. Sounds good enough for me. Did you notice I fluffed up that first chord and kind of a bit? So. From the waters of the Hebrides, you from the Isle of Man, my Isle of Man, oh, this is my island, oh, this is my island, beat the sheep and beat the beat until the day we die. Oh, this is my island, this is my island, down to the mountains of Tyree, hey. Without that's what it sounds like through the amp, a guitar amp. Can't turn it back off again, can you? Can't get that last note. I should really have put the words down. I can't remember them. They're quite fast, the words. I really have set the action on this probably slightly on the low side. That's why I'm having to be pure super accurate with the frets. Nobody's ever that accurate with the frets this high up on an acoustic, but because it's so low, it's kind of set up like an electric. I just think I actually do have a piezo system that I got out another guitar that I was going to put in this and have like both, but I don't think it would really make any much that much. It wouldn't make. I wouldn't get any more money for it, and I don't even know if it would sell any quicker. You know, it's like for the work involved. It's not. I do think that well, in saying that, if you look back to like the 70s and stuff, this one there were genuine people who had like just a Strat pickup in an acoustic that was enough for live performance. It sounds much more natural than the piezo tends to sound really artificial. It's like, yeah, in order to use like the piezo pickup you normally get in these things, really you want to be using the effects pedals and stuff to try and add in like your ambient sounds and all that lark, rather than just sticking it in and it's on. Whereas this is a bit more stick it in and it's on, especially to a guitar amp. There's this reverb on. I'll turn that off. Let's maybe put it off a wee bit. Wow, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? So if I could put in some, just a demonstration to Alex. I'm just not good at acoustic. I don't know. I keep missing out bits. It might just be you have to be more accurate a bit, and I'm a bit inaccurate. It's also got a tone knob, which maybe I could actually have some use. That's it maxed out. Bit more. Again, the problem you always have with any electroacoustic when you're playing it in the house is the guitar itself is quite loud when it's not plugged in. So, like, you're always going to hear that. That's why I was putting it in the loop pedals. It's like for recording or something like that. But if you're playing it in the house, you just want a wee bit of a boost to play along with a loud bass player or something like that. It's totally there. You can actually, there's kind of like a sweet spot. That's me mixing what I'm hearing from here with what's coming from there, or to be honest, it's probably more what's coming from there because it's bouncing out and coming back at me. I used to find that in my last house. I've not really noticed it in here because I'm kind of looking into a corner, but see if I kind of stood facing the door, the acoustic sounded amazing, like into the corner of the room, because it's bouncing back at you. I see now because the amp's on, it's making it different, but I mean, if it came down to we're talking about getting out your first acoustic, or you fancy having a wee go at learning guitar, this would be an amazing one for that. I'm not claiming that it sounds like a £1,000 Martin. It doesn't, but it plays really easily and it sounds good. You tend to notice more with acoustics. See if you ever play like £1,000, not in weight, like one that costs £1,000. Generally, you can you go, all right, there's an awful lot bigger variance in an acoustic guitar. I think in electric guitars, kind of once you get up to a point where it's set up okay, it doesn't buzz and all that, there's not a huge difference between like a well set up Squier telly and a Fender custom shop. There's a difference, but it's not massive. What is the difference between like a a £200 acoustic and a £1,000 acoustic is huge, because it's all in the wood and the construction is what makes the sound. Not, I'll be honest here, on an electric guitar or something. I mean, I found this out when I built that. The neck's kind of at the right angle, the strings are in the right place, and the bridge is in the right place. It's got a pickup in it. Good to go, really, sort of. Like you could, you see people making electric guitars out of all sorts of crazy things. I was going to try and make one out of it was the insert from my dad's. He's got like a granite worktop in his kitchen, and it's got like, you know, the bit where you've got like the drainer bit in the middle of the sink, and then the bigger bit of the sink that was cut out. I didn't cut it out, but it was made of granite or some sort of composite. It wasn't very thick. It was only maybe about an inch thick, but it was totally guitar shaped. And I was thinking, I eventually threw it out, because what was the point? It would be funny, you know. I would have had to top mount things, you know, and you know, everyone would basically have been sitting on a board, but it weighed an absolute ton, so it was completely stupid. I probably should have done it when I got a video out it, but just the amount of effort I was sitting there going like that, for drilling holes in granite and all that, and how you fit the pickups, so I have to route it. Nah. But electric guitar, you can kind of make it out of anything, really. The body anyway. But I mean, this is a Stag acoustic, handmade. 2005 probably. Annoyingly I spilt the super glue I was using to stick, or the glue I was using to stick this on. I spilt it on the label, so the label looks like it's got mould or something. It's not. It's super glue that I spilt on it. Also, I spilt a bit here as well. It's like, I didn't realise it's like is it liquid super glue, ultra fast liquid. All right. So I was sitting there like that, and I was like, is this going to come out? And I squeezed the bottle of them, and it went. Ah! There you go. It's got the decent type of tuners, you know, the sort of the enclosed ones. You can't see them because they're all black. Everything on this guitar was black apart from the scratch plate. So I'm going to try and flog this off to Tony and Blitzkreig, just because I don't think he's ever had an acoustic one off me. It's best. I have it done. There is what's his face in East Coast Bride. There is a Bucky acoustic. It's a 7-string ovation type guitar. When I say 7-string, what I did was I doubled up the D, you know, like a 12-string guitar. So there was an extra tuner for the just for that string, which meant that, see, when you were playing any chords that involved the D string, you had like the octave D, which meant it would actually work really well. It kind of sounded remarkably like a 12-string, just because it had that higher octave, whatever you were playing on the D chord in it, so everything just had a ding. You know, I can't, you know, it was always there. It's actually quite good. I need to do that again. Build one for myself. And the thing about that is, though, a 12-stringer is a bit of a pig to play. Even a really good one is a bit 12 to be in tune, whereas an extra 1, it's kind of like you can handle it. I mean, you can sort of play leads on all the strings apart from the D. Anyhow, so wish me luck for Saturday, where hopefully Pete and Diesel will be taking the Bucky or Ibanez. That would be lovely. There's a few bands and stuff that are using them. The Shambolics use one. Keep seeing it in their videos. I don't really know them. But I did sell them. This is before they got signed by the Oasis guy, whatever it was, and they're doing, you know, British tours all the time. I saw them playing, it was Manchester or something like that, and they were up there. It was just a wee snippet. It wasn't a whole song, it was just a wee snippet that was on their Facebook, and it was like, I played the fucking Buckacoustic in front of 5,000 people, or however many people were in it. Yeah. Rocking. Catch you later. Like and subscribe.